Hi, Lee Phillips here. Lately, I've had a series of clients who have wanted to have the trust designed so that there were specific assets that went to specific people. And I don't like that. I try and talk them out of it real hard. One, it's very difficult to write. Two, you don't know what your assets are 10, 20 years from now when you actually get around to dying. So I really try and stay away from specific bequests. And I've got a lady who just came to me this week, and she wants the house to go here, and this and this and this to her 4 kids. And I know she's got 10 kids. What about the other kids? Are you going to just straight up disinherit them? Normally the provision in the trust, which says how the trust assets are going to be distributed after you die, is general. It says we're going to divide the assets so as to provide 1 share for each living child and 1 share for each deceased child who has left issue. So their kids would get the share that their mom or dad would have gotten had she or the it must be early in the morning, had he or she then been alive. So that makes it easy. The trustee divides it equally amongst the children, and they all get their share. If one of them wants the house, then they can take their entire share as just the house, or they can buy out the other children's interests in the house, or something can be worked out so that that child gets the house. But where you want to specifically say, and this lady wanted 1 kid to get the car. Well, you may not have that car by the time you die. In fact, I'll bet money you don't have that car by the time you get around to dying. So naming all of these assets is almost ludicrous. You're going to sell the assets and go into the rest home. Then what do the kids get? You're going to do this or that or the other. So I just don't like specific bequests of property in the trust. And that would be the same for the will, but you're not going to have a will that says Johnny gets this, Mary gets that, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have a pour-over will. Remember that? Doesn't specifically state how the assets are divided. If anything needs to be probated, the will is used to probate, and then the assets pour over into the living revocable trust, and then they're distributed by the trustee according to the terms of the trust. Hopefully the trust is kind of general and says each kid gets their share, rather than trying to go through. Now, that being said, there is a provision in the trusts that I usually write, which says that you can get rid of what I call the dollies and doilies, the treadle sewing machine. Things that are not signatured assets, as I would call them, things that don't require your signature to sell them or to give them away. So you can list those on what we call in my trust a Schedule B. And you just simply make out a list, and the painting of so-and-so in the living room, Mary gets that. The hammers and saws, John gets that. And we go on down like that, and you can distribute as many of those assets as you want. My rule of thumb is if I can buy it at Walmart, I don't care about it. You do not need to list it on Schedule B. But if there's something that's absolutely unique, then yes. Decide who gets it, put their name by it, and make sure that the description is accurate. It can't be the blue lamp in the bedroom, because there might be a blue lamp in the bedroom and one in the living room, and then somebody goes in and switches those 2 around. So it has to be a description that a stranger could find that, not in the house, but in a big pile out on the front lawn. And then you can say, Johnny gets this, Mary gets that, and go on down that way. So those are specific bequests. And I like that because that avoids the family fight. But as far as getting rid of the general assets, the real estate, the bank accounts, that sort of stuff, make it general. Don't try and get down specific, because by the time you get around to dying, the specific is going to have changed. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, Soraya says. We want you to subscribe, and in fact, tell your friends and subscribe, because you might note that we're not advertising currently on the site and probably never will, but we need the subscribers to get the YouTube ratings up so that we can get more people involved.